Now at 10, tragic findings from a KBI report on the death of a 2-year-old in a police standoff last month. Plus, Joplin City Council decides whether to approve a JPD recruitment incentive program. And Missouri's Attorney General sues the Biden administration over a southern border policy.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A heartbreaking development today from the preliminary findings of the KBI report on last month's officer-involved shooting and standoff in Baxter Springs. This is KOAM News at 10. Those findings indicate the 2-year-old child in the home died from a shot fired by a responding officer. KOAM's Chris Warner has been following the story and has more.
The latest information from the KBI details what Joplin Police Chief Sloan Rowland calls a horrific outcome. On March 26th, Eli Crawford barricaded himself inside a travel trailer with his 2-year-old daughter after shooting and killing the child's mother, Taylor Schutt. Crawford fired more than 90 rounds at responding officers during a nearly 2.5-hour standoff with police. The Joplin SWAT team was called in to assist, and a Joplin officer returned fire toward the home. KBI's preliminary report revealed that shot killed 2-year-old Cleslin Crawford. JPD Chief Sloan Rowland issued a release discussing the situation and saying, quote, "This is a horrific outcome to what had already started as a very tragic incident. Our heartfelt condolences go out to the families involved and the surrounding community. We ask that you pray for the victims and everyone involved." Now, that officer is on paid administrative leave per department policy. Chief Rowland added that a separate internal investigation is ongoing. The KBI also stated that it believes Eli Crawford died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The KBI says its investigation is ongoing, and once concluded, the findings will be presented to the Cherokee County Attorney to determine if criminal charges will be filed. We again want to reiterate the KBI's findings are preliminary at this time. In Joplin, Chris Warner, KOAM News.
You can see the full release from the KBI on our website. That's KOAMnewsnow.com. Joplin police released the identity of a suspect in a death investigation who died in a standoff last week. Police say 44-year-old James Weiss Jr. of Joplin last week killed Donald Weimer. During that investigation, officers received a tip that Weiss was in a home on 2201 South Empire but refused to come out. SWAT officers used chemical munitions, heard a gunshot, and then saw fire coming from the attic of the home. When the fire was under control, they found Weiss in the attic with a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Authorities say an investigation is still underway. Neosho, Missouri police have arrested a woman they say killed someone while driving under the influence. Authorities say on Saturday, Stormy Dean was driving on Baxter Street in Neosho when she crashed into another vehicle. The driver of the other vehicle was injured, and a passenger, 22-year-old Kira Lovett of Neosho, was killed. Officers say Dean was impaired at the time. Authorities have charged her with DWI, death of another. Let's check in with Nick Kelly now for our first look at the weather.
We had rain as advertised this morning, Dow, and picking up again late this evening. Despite that, we actually had temperatures turn mild again today thanks to the peaks of sun that a good number of us saw earlier today. 52 for a chilly morning low, and then topping out around 65 degrees for this afternoon. We do have those scattered showers still out there. It's a very thin band of scattered showers slowly lifting north and northeast. Nothing too threatening about this whatsoever. Other than that, everyone's dealing with mostly cloudy skies, but we had these rain chances kick back into gear for some tonight with that stalled out front still close to the region. Then we got to deal with that cold front down the road. In the short term, though, temperatures haven't fallen off very much. We're mainly in the mid to upper 50s right now, and as long as we continue with the cloud cover and even some scattered showers even by the morning drive, we'll only drop back to about 53 degrees, but I think we're okay for much of the day tomorrow. Partly sunny skies, highs in the lower 70s. We better enjoy that down before more rain comes our way. We'll break that down for everybody here in a few.
Catch you then. Missouri Attorney General Eric Schmidt is suing the Biden administration over the end of public health policy Title 42. That policy is the Trump-era pandemic restriction that blocked most migrants from entering the U.S. The policy essentially allows border officials to turn away migrants because of the pandemic. It's set to end next month. In a statement, Schmidt said revoking Title 42 will create an unprecedented surge at the southern border, and it will overwhelm law enforcement agencies. Meanwhile, immigrant rights advocates are praising the reports it will come to an end. As the Joplin Police Department continues to face staffing shortages, the Joplin City Council tonight approved a proposal aimed at helping to fix that problem. The department has developed a recruitment incentive plan to attract experienced officers to join the force. The plan provides a $10,000 payment to officers from other agencies who sign on with the JPD. One of the requirements is those officers must commit to 2 years with the department. Officials with the JPD say they hope this helps current staff as well.
We're trying to get to full staff so that we can give them that relief, that we can get those shifts fully strengthened so that they can go out there, and the more officers you have, the quicker we can respond to calls, the less time that victim may have to spend waiting on an officer to respond.
The police department has been dealing with a staffing shortage for months. Joplin City Council tonight approved a few ordinances, including the annexation of an apartment complex. Residents of Summit Ridge voiced their concerns, saying they weren't given enough warning about the annexation plan. The city plans to demolish the complex and rebuild it with 60 new homes. That was approved on first reading. Council also approved a work authorization that authorizes the Joplin-based Olson for $158,000. Olson will provide engineering services for the city's capital improvement program master plan. April is Child Abuse Prevention Month, and the Joplin Police Department is showing its support by working with residents to set up pinwheels in front of the department. Hundreds of pinwheels were placed today, each representing an allegation of child abuse made in Joplin last year. A 5-year-old girl from Arma, Kansas is showing her appreciation for law enforcement. Sophia Rakestraw is competing in the Baby Miss America pageant. Part of the pageant is serving a cause, and Sophia and her family have chosen to back the blue. So they're going around and delivering cookies to local law enforcement, showing appreciation for their service.
I think if you ask the officers, it's been a pretty positive impact. This is our first time doing it so far with the Baby Miss America pageant. It's one of the, they want all the little girls and boys in the Baby Miss America to bring that awareness to them, because it's not happening anywhere right now.
Sophia was chosen out of 750 girls to represent the state of Kansas for this pageant. Voters in Missouri and Oklahoma tomorrow will decide local races and issues. They include a bond proposal for renovation and construction at Joplin's Memorial Hall. Also, school bond issues in many communities and races for area city offices and school boards. Of course, we're going to have the election results tomorrow night on KOAM News at 9 and 10 and throughout the evening on KOAMNewsNow.com. Coming up, the U.S. Senate votes to discharge the Supreme Court nomination out of the Judiciary Committee. Plus, what a new report shows about U.S. obesity rates during the pandemic. Russia faces a fresh wave of condemnation after evidence emerged of what appeared to be deliberate killings of dozens, if not hundreds, of civilians in Ukraine. European allies were united in outrage, but appear split on how to respond. Poland angrily singled out France and Germany for not taking more strident action and urged Europe to quickly wean itself off Russian energy. Berlin said it would take a longer-term approach. President Joe Biden called them war crimes but not genocide and promised more economic sanctions. Germany expelled 40 Russian diplomats because of the killings, and Lithuania also sent a diplomat home to Russia. The full Senate has voted to discharge Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson's Supreme Court nomination from the Judiciary Committee after the panel held a tied 11-11 partisan vote. Two more GOP senators came out this evening in support of her nomination. This now sets the stage for Judge Jackson to become the first black woman confirmed to the High Court by the end of the week. Reporter Skylar Henry has more from Capitol Hill.
The votes are 11 yeas, 11 nays.
The Judiciary Committee deadlocked along party lines on the Supreme Court nomination of Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, forcing an additional procedural vote on the Senate floor.
The yeas are 53, the nays are 47.
Let us move forward with this brilliant, this resoundingly qualified, this historic nominee to the highest court in the land.
Committee Republicans voiced uniform opposition, citing judicial philosophy and again criticizing her past sentences in child pornography cases.
I believe she will prove to be the most extreme and the furthest left justice.
If you are a criminal, you would be lucky if your case is assigned to Judge Jackson.
To say she's an extremist on crime belies the fact that she has law enforcement group after law enforcement group supporting her. These are just lies.
Democrats say they want to hold a final full Senate vote on Judge Jackson's nomination by the end of the week, before the Easter recess.
If we could make it bipartisan, it would not only help the Supreme Court, it would help the Senate.
At least 3 Republican senators, Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, and Mitt Romney, have said they will vote to confirm Judge Jackson, who's back on Capitol Hill this week for more face-to-face meetings with lawmakers. Skyler Henry, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Now, if confirmed, Judge Jackson will replace retiring Justice Stephen Breyer. She once served in his chambers as a law clerk. Justice Breyer is expected to remain on the bench until early summer when the current Supreme Court term ends. A new study shows obesity rates among U.S. adults got worse during the COVID pandemic. According to the Department of Agriculture, the average body mass index in the U.S. increased by 0.6% between March of 2020 and March of the next year. That happened even as exercise participation rates soared by 4.4%. People slept 1.5% more and smoked 4% less. Researchers didn't look at diet, so people may have eaten less healthy foods. A rise in the consumption of alcohol may also have contributed. A little bit later, the Franklin Technology Center recognizes its Outstanding Student of the Year.
But first, I'm tracking not only more rain chances in the forecast, but maybe a chilly end of the week. We'll break it all down next. I'll be keeping an eye on temperatures throughout the course of this evening, wondering if we're going to see a big drop-off due to the clouds and the rain chances that will stick around for some as we go throughout the course of the night. We'll break down the numbers here in a few. But the live shot from Indigo Sky looking dry for now, but plenty of cloud cover up top, no doubt about it. Again, thanks to Indigo Sky Casino and Resort outside of Seneca, Missouri for that live shot. This is what we had to deal with yesterday evening into this morning. A first good batch of rain and some embedded thunderstorms. Then, once we got this evening underway, we saw some additional rain chances perk on up once again. In total, all that rain resulted in about 0.4 of an inch, just under half an inch across the entire region according to radar estimates. But you can clearly see some individual pockets like around Stockton Lake, the Newton-McDonald County line and northeastern parts of Oklahoma. Some spots pushing between half an inch and an inch of rain. And some rain still trying to come on down. It doesn't look impressive compared to what we saw last night and this morning, but there are still some scattered showers out there on the radar network. We can go in for a tighter look. I think the heavier echoes clearly around Carthage, Villa, and then sneaking back close to Red Oak and Mount Vernon in Lawrence County, and then just really light scattered showers between Nevada, Fort Scott, Pittsburgh, Lamar, and trying to skirt back as far west as St. Paul, Erie, and even Chanute. In the meantime, Joplin, your roads were wet because of rain earlier this evening, but we're looking dry from the up top, at least right now. And the numbers have dropped off a little bit, sitting at 54, but look at that humidity at 93%. We're not going to drop off much more as long as that number stays pretty high throughout the course of the night. So we've got some lower 50s on the board, mid 50s elsewhere. Most of us will gravitate back toward the lower 50s for lows tonight, maybe a few mid 40s in our northwestern counties, but everyone's going to have a chilly start to the morning with some scattered showers that Michael Hailslip will keep an eye on starting at 5 a.m. here on KOAM. At least we're not dealing with this mess. This is a mess of severe storms working across north central, northeastern parts of Texas, all because of the same storm system that's giving us our rain chances tonight. This stalled out front. That's going to move along tomorrow. But we got this cold front that will quickly come our way tomorrow, along with this upper level low, and we'll show you what that does by the end of the week as we go into the future tracks. Starting in the short term, though, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, we're sticking with mostly cloudy skies throughout the course of the night. The future track, rightfully so, holding on to some scattered showers and maybe a few showers by the morning drive. But then once we get past the morning drive to work and school, I think we're going to break out and see partly sunny skies tomorrow afternoon before that next cold front tries to stir up anything funny. So that means we'll go from 53 in the morning, 65 by noon, and pushing highs near 72 with that southwest wind ahead of the front at 5 to 15. But once we get into Tuesday evening, here's Tuesday night. We'll watch for that front to fire off some additional scattered showers, even a couple of thunderstorms. Not looking at anything too strong, certainly nothing severe though. And then we're going to dry things out once we get past Wednesday morning. As far as the additional rain goes, maybe another tenth, half an inch for most, depending on if any heavy pockets of rain can work on through, maybe a couple spots close to an inch. But look at this upper level low, carving that jet deep to the south as we go into Thursday and toward Friday as well. Maybe a few showers with that wave by Thursday, but we'll go from 72 tomorrow, 62 Wednesday, lower to middle 50s for highs on Thursday and Friday. But Dow, before we turn mild by next week, let's keep an eye on Friday morning and Saturday morning. If we have lower to middle 30s still on the cards, those with the green thumbs might want to consider covering those plants up or bringing them in.
Yeah, getting really close to that frost area for sure. Thanks, Nick. The Franklin Technology Center is recognizing the outstanding work of one of its seniors. Leighton Coates is an automotive technology student, and he's being honored as the program's Outstanding Student of the Year. Officials say he not only passed his Automotive Service Excellence certifications, he also passed his certifications for the Ford ACE program, which not a lot of students do. In fact, Leighton is the first student to complete all 65 college-level automotive courses offered at Franklin Tech.
Just gives me, if something doesn't work out, it gives me another thing to do. It just gives me a place to go if something doesn't work out.
Leighton's teachers also say he served as a great role model for other students during his time at Franklin Tech. Still ahead, the Kansas Jayhawks hit the floor tonight against North Carolina, aiming for a national championship. And Girard and Colgan meet for their softball conference opener. Jacob Leonard has that and more up next.
Well, tonight is the night for the Kansas Jayhawks. KU hits the floor against North Carolina this evening in the Division I Men's Basketball National Championship. Now, if Kansas is able to finish tonight, they would claim their first national championship since 2008. KU was down 15 at halftime, but check this out. They rallied back to lead by 2 with about 5 minutes to go. Christian Brown has a double-double for the Jayhawks with 12 points and 12 rebounds. Today's the opening day of the Bill O'Dell baseball tournament in Carthage. There are 2 games on the schedule tonight to begin pool play. First up, it's Carl Junction taking on the Nevada Tigers. Shane Diskin out there on the mound for CJ. Nice move there to first to get the runner. Clears the bases, but still in the top of the first. Nevada gets on the board. Eli Cheney sends it to right. Drake Ketterman scores from second. Tigers get 2 in the inning to go up 2-0. But then, here comes Carl Junction. Ball gets by the catcher here in the bottom of the first. Drew Massey scores. Bulldogs get 2 in the inning to tie it up. The same score, top of the fourth. Massey at the plate now. Look at that. Bounces it off third base. That score is 2, and it gives Carl Junction their first lead of the day. Back to Shane Diskin, though, out there on the mounds. He stayed rolling. Complete game with 6 strikeouts. Carl Junction pulls away from Nevada today, 10-3. Now in the second and final game of the night in Carthage, the hometown Tigers hit the field against Seneca. Carthage starts fast and goes on to win it 16-2. Tigers have tomorrow off before facing Monette in the tournament on Wednesday afternoon. Missouri Southern's Matt Miller is the MIAA hitter of the week. He hit .571 with 3 homers, 2 doubles, and 11 RBIs last week, helping the Lions go 4-0, including a 3-game sweep over Fort Hays State. Now Miller did a lot of that damage last Tuesday against Rogers State. In that one game, he tied a Southern record by hitting 3 home runs, picking up 8 RBIs along the way. Miller and the Lions are back in action tomorrow night, hosting Missouri S&T at 5 p.m. The Colgan Panthers open CNC League play tonight against the Girard Trojans. These 2 teams are both off to hot starts to begin the spring. Colgan is 4-0 coming into the night. Girard is 2-0. Top of the third here. Pitch bounces by the catcher. Bailey Troike hustles in from third, giving the Trojans the lead. Now later in the same inning, kind of a swinging bunt here from Hannah Bailey. Didn't go very far, but still effective. Rachel Bennett comes home from third. And after that, on an Aaron Anderson hit to left, Riley Brooks will score. Gerard putting together a nice inning. Then in the top of the 7th, Leah McGowan will put the finishing touches on the ball game. Solo shot to center for McGowan. Gerard earns a shutout in game 1, 5-0. So game 2, Gerard trying for the sweep. They get it done with another big win, 10-4. Gerard's now 4-0 to start the season, including 2-0 in the CNC. Finally, the 86th Masters Golf Tournament begins on Thursday at Augusta. There's a pretty good chance we'll see Tiger Woods out there. This is Woods today playing a practice round at Augusta. Now, he said he'll be a, quote, game time decision for the tournament on Thursday. Woods is just a little more than a year removed from a car crash in which he suffered multiple leg injuries that involved multiple surgeries. Now, he's won this thing 5 times and is a 15-time major champion. And that's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
Take time now to honor a local veteran. Larry Lyons served in the U.S. Army from 1970 to 2005. Cassville, Missouri native was stationed in Vietnam. And we salute Sergeant First Class Larry Lyons, a 4-state hero. Rico, the Brazilian porcupine here, celebrated his 6th birthday at the Cincinnati Zoo. To celebrate, the zoo threw him a picnic with some of his favorite snacks and friends, including an anteater and some armadillos. Brazilian porcupines spend most of their time in tree canopies. I don't know this for certain, but my suspicion is that at a porcupine birthday party you would not have balloons.
Probably not.
I wouldn't think that'd be a good idea. The weather, rain chances ahead.
Yeah, we'll have to deal with showers tonight into tomorrow morning. I think a break during much of the day. Highs are 72. Additional rain tomorrow night into Wednesday morning.
Final sports news.
KU is up 70-69 right now in the national championship with just under a minute to go. So that's what a national championship game should be.
You know, Doug is a KU grad. I'm sure he's sweaty palms right now. Yeah. Thanks for joining us. Morning show, 5 a.m. Let's make it a great tomorrow.